pleased to have in studio Gary Kramer. That's right, the Gary Kramer. And Kim Chase. That's right, the Kim Chase, star of Stage and Screen. They're from the National Comedy Theater here in New York, and they have been to Iraq. And first of all,
who hasn't? Who hasn't?
A lot of people.
Oh, I don't know.
A lot of people. First of all, let's explain what you'll be doing. Let's get this out of the way. Make sure tonight and tomorrow, what will you two be doing?
Oh, well.
And others as well.
And others, yeah. Over at the National Comedy Theater, we do an improv comedy show. And this particular weekend, we're doing our Halloween Spooktacular, which is sort of a really stupid version of our regular show.
Yeah. Oh, he said that.
Yeah, we tried to come up with the cheesiest name possible for a Halloween show, and we saw it on the side of a used car dealership. Someone called their Halloween sale Spooktacular. So we adopted it, of course.
And where is the national? By the way, it sounds official. The United States National Comedy Theater.
We are national. Well, we're international since we have traveled internationally. So, but we're national. We're on 36th Street between 8th and 9th in New York City.
And in San Diego.
And in San Diego as well. And Phoenix. We just opened one in Phoenix as well.
How did this start?
Well, Gary can answer that one.
Oh, my God.
He started 8 years ago.
Yeah, we started about in 91. We started in Santa Barbara, California. And it was just, improv comedy wasn't so big back then. And it just took off from there. And it grew bigger than Santa Barbara. So we moved it to San Diego, and more people auditioned. And we were there running the show for 7, 8 years and decided, New York doesn't have any competition. It's very inexpensive to work there. And there's no
figured
theaters.
It needed more comedy.
There's nothing to do at night in New York City.
Right.
Why not build a theater?
Exactly.
Right.
It's just a wasteland, really.
They roll those streets up at 5 o'clock.
They do, right. And
after the early bird
So
specials.
they really needed us.
Yeah, they needed us. And there was a calling for it. We heard the call all the way in Los Angeles where we were living, and decided we're going to bring comedy to New York for the very first time. It's been a very sad city. And so 4 years ago, we opened the show here.
There are people right now saying, well, I think they got comedy, but I think they're crazy. People are liberals. They're crazy. Probably doing that drugs.
Don't we call them progressives now? I thought. And
now, more importantly, this is the thing. Too. By the way, if you tell me I like anti-regressive, I have no idea. Progressive. That one came up overnight. All
progressive thing. Yeah,
yes,
I like it. It's like okay, good.
Yeah,
it's like remember when Peking turned into Beijing?
Right.
When?
Who was looking? It's
Mao Zedong, Mao Zedong.
Istanbul, Constantinople. I'm still getting over that one.
Sri Lanka, Ceylon.
Right.
And all the ways to spell Gaddafi.
There was a G and a K.
A Q.
There was a Q, yeah.
Koran.
It's a QU apostrophe ran.
Hey, no, QU, buddy.
Hey, right. Whoa.
Now, listen, let's talk about this. Both of you have been to, first of all, where have you been in that there Middle East?
Well, it didn't start in the Middle East. We've done 4 tours with Armed Forces Entertainment.
The Bible says that
started.
That's
actually been to the Temple of Ur.
That's right, Temple of Ur. Well, we did several tours of the Mediterranean for the military, and we were in Greece, Italy, Turkey, Spain, Greece, all these cool places.
So
and
by,
it was.
By the way, let me just stop you right there.
Yeah.
I know you're trying to be a nice guy, Gary, but that's mighty nice of you. I mean, this was a lucrative gig, huh?
Oh yeah, big money.
Big
money.
Money.
Let me tell you, they
first
throw the
of all,
money at you.
and all
we could retire.
Comedy aside,
Right.
What was there was a sense of you feel very strongly for these people, and having been there is something that you cannot explain.
It's really intangible. I mean, they're just people over there. There's no politics when you're there.
You mean
with
the
troops.
soldiers?
The soldiers,
right.
Yeah. And well, you can't just say soldiers because soldiers and sailors and Marines, they get mad if you call them by the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get back to that too, because that's the basis of most humor over there for us was making fun of the other branch, whatever base you were on, you made fun of the other one. And but they're just kids, well, not even just kids, but
But think of the tradition from Bob Hope, the USO, and I mean, and
then they get us. I know it's sad. It's gone.
No. Who's Jerry Colonna? Which of you?
Well, it's funny because they had us visiting hospitals on this last tour. And there are other tours going on that are celebrity tours, like James Gandolfini from The Sopranos had been out over a few months before us. You can imagine this guy, he just does a handshake tour.
And Robin Williams, he showed up for the handshake tour at the hospital.
So you can imagine these guys walk in and the guys in the hospitals light up, hey, it's Tony, and then they told us, hey, we're going to take you to the hospital. Before our show, we'd arrive on a base and we'd do the hospital tour first. They didn't know us. We're Chuckles the Clown, and we'd walk into the hospital going, what are we going to talk about?
A little song, a little dance, a little seltzer in your pants.
All right.
America's classic.
Thanks for remembering that, and I would even compare us to them.
But they didn't even, again, Gary Kramer and Kim Chase, they didn't say, oh, you. It was, thanks.
Absolutely.
Do you remember us? Do they know we're here?
That was
Absolutely.
that was it. And it was amazing to have them thank us for coming over there.
Kim,
They're there.
Yeah, we just talk about where they're from or what their experience has been or how long they've been there. And each one has a different story, really.
I want you to just give me right now, because I don't know about you, but, they're right now, as of today, and we don't talk about this anymore, with all this web, Dow business crashing and Wall Street, 4,189 killed in Iraq alone. That's not injured. I mean, that's tragically
Well, no,
dead.
that's what we saw in the hospitals were how many were injured that no one talks about.
Tell me something, freak people out. Let's don't worry. No. I want you to tell people the reality. Don't let me, because I want them to know that's really why you're here.
Well, the numbers were a little staggering. And when we first visited the first hospital, the doctors gave us sort of a tour. And, we kind of walked through, and a lot of the soldiers, the military, were never going to recover. They were going to be sent home, but they weren't going to recover.
How old?
Gosh, as young
Early
as
20s.
18, 19, 20. One young engineer, she was 22, and her husband was also an engineer. He was at a different base, and she had been blown up building a bridge. And
there was one woman I heard, so tragic. I mean, this just stuck with me. Just reading it, mind you, I wasn't there like you, but she didn't remember her family.
Oh,
Her
yeah.
kids. Mommy
There's a lot
was
of that.
gone, and who are we but not our memory? I mean, it's just
we experienced a lot of the guys we met. Especially we went to the bases in Germany because they send them there either before or
Is that
after.
Ramstein or-
Yes,
We were in Ramstein.
and we were there.
And Bush is thinking about. I read they're going to close that down.
Yes.
And move it because they're basically still PO'd over Germany, not exactly coming on board. And that was
They've closed a lot of the bases in Germany.
That was a critical place,
Right.
for medevac, and they're going to move it to maybe Kuwait, or not Kuwait, but
Dubai.
yeah, some
Probably.
Yeah.
Right.
because of this ridiculous notion.
Well, it makes no
After-
sense that we have so many bases in Germany. I mean, they're old World War II bases that are still there.
How are the troops themselves? Give me an idea of their attitude, and do they know? Because here, as you know, it's always support the troops.
Right.
It's
easy to say.
Who doesn't support that? I mean, what do they think about us and their view, their mission? By the way, what's the only television station?
Fox News. It's in all the cafeterias
Yeah.
and the lunchrooms. They only watch Fox News.
That's it.
That's it. That's all they're allowed.
There were 3 guys that watched CNN, but
Yeah.
they were in a tent somewhere at the edge of.
No, they were
No, they weren't
prisoners.
allowed to. I mean, yeah, I
Prisoners.
mean, they really can't.
They were in Gitmo.
What we noticed the most, because really it's what we've found is that it's not about politics for them. They have a mission, each, whatever their position is, and they're mostly focused on taking care of whoever's in their team and making sure they
Yes.
survive. And that really is their focus. We met some who had been part of the raids, and they were they had said they'd seen horrors, they experienced horrors.
What about extended stays and stop loss and people?
Well, that
who were-
was it. The first tour we did, when we were in Spain when the stop loss order, or one of the stop loss orders, came through, and there were guys there that were ready to go. They were a week away from going home, and they had just gotten
Yes.
the orders. Oh, guess what? 6 more months. And a lot of people were being re-upped while they were there. A lot of the National Guard was happening too, and we met a lot of National Guard over there, and they hated that. As focused as they are on the mission, like Kim said, and they're very involved with keeping each other alive. That's their thing. But it's another thing, when do I get to go home?
And they talked about, we met many in Iraq who talked about, there was one guy who's been in the service he was about 42, 43, and his family, they were losing their home because he had been on his 4th tour of duty, and they're just not getting the financial support they need. So this house he had his whole life, his wife had to sell the house and their kids, and they had to move. We met the guy who was sort of running the things there that was from the National Guard in the one base in Iraq. And he also talked about the same thing, that he's not going back to work. And so families are really struggling to just make ends meet because we're not supporting them. And
that's
that makes
part
us...
part of why we were brought over there. There's an organization on most of the bases called MWR, Morale, Welfare, and Recreation, and they work with the USO and Armed Forces Entertainment.
Which part were you, Gary?
I was the W.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I was
welfare.
more the welfare.
He's welfare.
I
Oh,
just
yeah, right.